Hey guys, I wanted to get on here real quick because I wanted to give you an update. I've got a lot of people asking about my mom. Um, I put a little bit of information on Facebook. If you're friends with me on Facebook, a lot of you are, but a lot of you are not. And I've got a lot of people asking. So I went to Texas last week. Start from the beginning. Um, just I don't know, 6 months ago, my mom was still working. She's 67 years old, 68. She's 68. Just within the last 6 months, she was working. She worked at a church in the nursery taking care of babies. They had like a daycare, and my mom was taking care of the little bitty babies. Um, then she retired, and she just kind of slowed way down. And she was still living alone. And then inside of 2 weeks, inside of the last three, let's see, gosh, inside the last 3 weeks, she went from living on her own to now she's in the hospital. My mom has been a lifelong smoker, and it's catching up with her. If you are a smoker, I highly recommend trying to quit because it's very, very hard to watch your loved one suffer from that addiction. Um, uh, where was I? Okay, so she's living on her own. And inside of 3 weeks, my sister went over to her house to go get her for something, and mom couldn't stand up hardly. And when she did, she's like, I can't step. I can't step. Go get my cane, which isn't even her cane. It was my grandpa's cane. So my sister went and got the cane. 24 hours later, she could not walk without a walker. We had to get her a walker. 2 weeks later, no, 24 hours later, she needed a walker. 24 hours after that, she had to move in with my sister. For 2 weeks, she's been with my sister, and my sister's been taking care of her. And my sister's making all her food, helping her walk around the house. I was going up there last week. I went up there last Sunday today, Monday. So it was last Sunday. I went up there, down there to Lubbock to my sister's to help move my mom out of her apartment and into my sister's house. Like, my mom was already there, but we had to move her stuff. So my whole object for last week, my whole objection to go to Texas was, of course, to visit my family and see my mom and my sister and my nephews, but it was to move her out of her apartment. Well, after 2 days of being there, mom got real sick, and she had a doctor's appointment, and at 2:30 on Wednesday, and I told my sister my mom had diarrhea, and it just kept on and kept on and kept on, and she was throwing up. She wasn't eating. She hadn't eaten in 48 hours. She wasn't hardly drinking. I told my sister, I said, we're going to skip the doctor's appointment and we're going to go straight to the emergency room. So I asked mom. My mom was just in the bed. She couldn't get up. And I said, Mom, can you walk to the car, or do I need to call an ambulance? And she goes, no, I can walk to the car. So I got her to the car. Me and my mom drove to the emergency room. She was kind of perky in the car. Got her to the emergency room on Wednesday. Today is Monday, and she's still at the hospital. They admitted her immediately. She was septic. She has colitis, and now she's got C. diff, and and gallstones. She's got a whole bunch of gallstones. They want to take her gallbladder out, but she's not well enough. They want to do a colonoscopy, but she's not well enough. And so they're pumping her full of antibiotics, getting her hydrated. They had her on a clear liquid diet. She started eating soft foods like oatmeal and pudding and then we thought she was on the upswing. As a matter of fact, my last post on Facebook, I was like, thank you everybody so much for your prayers. My mom's on the upswing. She's back on the downswing. They were going to let her go yesterday, and they didn't, and then they were going to let her go today. That's not going to happen. And when they let her go, she has to go straight into therapy. She can't go back to my sister's house. She has to have 24/7 care. So she probably will never go back to live with my sister. She'll have to go in assisted living or somewhere where she has 24/7 care, because I live here in Tulsa, and my sister, she has to have a full-time care. And we we're not built, not built, but we're not in a position to be able to do that. So she'll go into an assisted living situation, and get tons of therapy. This is our goal. My sister and I think we might lose her before that. I'm not saying my mom is dying, but there's a little part of me that feels like, my sister asked me today, she said, do you think mom's dying? And I said, it's highly likely that she might be. So we don't know. Only God knows. And I have been crying pretty much every day for a week. And my sister hasn't had any tears yet, because she's the big sister. And I think that God is maybe orchestrating it this way so that when he does take my mom home, then I'll get to be the strong one and my sister can release. I feel like I'm releasing now and she'll release later. But I can tell you that we're both already grieving her. We don't know if we're going to have her for another 24 hours or if we're going to have her another 24 years. We don't know, but it doesn't look good. And I just am begging you. I am begging you. If you are a smoker, please consider putting them down. Especially if you it's hard to watch. It is so hard to watch. My mom started smoking heavy when she was a teenager, and she smoked heavy her whole life. And a matter of fact, she told me in the hospital, she said, if you take my cigarettes away from me, I don't want to live. That's how addicted she is. And it's real hard to watch. So I love her. She's my mom. And it's just something that she's never been able to put down. She's had a very hard life. She raised me and my sister by herself. She had no help from anyone. And my dad wasn't there. He didn't help her. She worked 2 and 3 jobs growing up. We weren't on welfare, but we were broke. And she was alone in the world. And her cigarettes are they were her constant companion. They helped her when she was stressed out. They helped her take a break. They were her crutch, and they still are. And now she's very young. She's 68, and we're gonna lose her. So they've taken her ability to walk. She can barely stand up. She's had a heart attack. She's had a stroke. She's got emphysema. It's just been killing her. And now I think my sister and I are just kind of, I know, we're just preparing. So if it is her time soon, I don't want her to suffer, of course. She told the doctor, when we were in the emergency room, they said, if we lose you, if something, heaven forbid, if something should happen, do you want us to do CPR? And she said, yes, you do CPR. She said, but if I die and you bring me back, if I code and you bring me back, and I can only live with life support. She said, I don't want that. In other words, if I pass and you bring me back with CPR and I have some quality of life, you know, great. But if you have to keep me alive on life support, she said, just take me right off. So, I don't know. So I've been up there with her. So we spent one day moving her stuff. Thank God she was just in a 1-bedroom apartment. My sister still has a lot of stuff to move out of there, but we got all the big heavy stuff out. Went up and saw her at the hospital every day. And I talked to my mom this morning, and she's real, I hate to use the word spacey, but she's not all there. She has moments of clarity, and then she has moments of confusion, and it's just really hard to watch. My mom has been this strong little firecracker my whole life, and she was indestructible. There was nothing that woman couldn't do, and now she can't even stand up hardly. She can walk to the bathroom with help, and that's it. And so that's what's going on. So any kind of prayer is good, whether it's for total healing, which won't come because she won't quit smoking. She'll never put him down. The only thing good about her being in the hospital this week and then going into assisted living or therapy or whatever her next step is that they won't allow her to smoke. So she hasn't had a cigarette in a week. They've given her nicotine patches, but she hasn't been able to smoke in a week. And she won't be able to smoke again for a long time. And she said, if you take my cigarettes from me, I don't want to live. And when people don't want to live, they kind of lose their will. And it hurts my heart, and it hurts my sister's heart. But anyway, I'm going to get off here because this is too much. I'm home now, and I don't know when I'm going back. If she goes into the assisted living place, it can be therapy, assisted living, or a nursing home. It's all three of those in one at this one particular place that she's going. They'll keep her up to 20 days. Her insurance will cover up to 20 days. And they'll get her moving around and all that. But after that, she either has to go back to my sister's house or she has to go into a nursing home. So that's hard. Anyway, she has to have 24/7 care, and I'm not a nurse and I'm not a doctor, and neither is my sister, and we can't give that to her. We've been talking to hospice also. So and y'all know I worked hospice. And I'm actually starting home health this week to do PRN home health. I've been selling Norwex, and that's paying most of my bills, but I need a little supplemental, so I'm going to work PRN home health in people's homes. So I wish my mom was here, and I could, even if my mom was here, my house is not built I would have to knock out walls and build showers, and we don't have the money for that, and she doesn't have the money for that, and it's best in her condition that she stay in Texas. So she didn't have to move around a whole lot, and she already has a team of doctors and nurses and hospice, and she already has things in place. And I think a move would be too much for her. So, and it's easier for me, whether she goes back and lives with my sister, which I highly doubt, or goes to assisted living, or if she can't even do assisted living, which is what it's looking like, it's easier for me to hop in the car and zip down there to my sister because my kids are grown. My sister is going through a horrible, awful, ugly divorce, which is also horrible. She's going through an ugly divorce. She's got 3 little boys by herself. And she's down in Lubbock. And so it's very hard all the way around. And it's easier for me to hop in the car and go down, zip down there at the drop of a hat. than it would be for her if mom was here, than it would be for her to load up the boys and drive here. You know what I mean? I can get there quicker. So for everybody who wanted an update, there you go. And for everybody who's been praying, I'm just so grateful. And I mean, I don't even know what to ask you to pray for except for peace for her and strength for me and my sister. Whether that peace comes in healing or that peace comes in going home to be with the Lord. Just peace, comfort for my mom and strength for me and my sister. That's what I'm asking. And my mom's name is Joella. My sister's name is Kimberly. And if you guys could throw up a prayer for my stepson Dalton, the week before I left, he had his 4th grand mal seizure. And that was very hard. Every time that boy has a seizure and he just falls. And we don't know if he's broke his head, if he's busted his head. You know, it's not the seizure so much as in it is the fall from the seizure. You know, this kid's almost 6 foot tall, and he's not a little thing. He's not great big either, but he's grown. When he's upstairs and we hear it crash from upstairs, we already know that he's falling and he's seizing. And these aren't little seizures. These are grand mal, foam at the mouth, eyes rolling in the back of the head, biting the tongue seizures, where he's flopping around like a fish. And it's also very hard to watch. It's very scary. He has one every 3 or 4 months. He's had all the tests. He's had the CT scans. He's on the epilepsy medicine. He's doing all that. So Shane is constantly on edge. And, well, really lately, it's just been too much. It's just been too much. And, you know, so thank you for listening to me cry. Thank you for those who've been praying. Thank you for asking about my mom and Dalton, and my boys and Riley are doing great. So, you know, Shane's going to work and I'm doing my Norwex, and I'm going to do my PRN home health this week. And, you know, life goes on. You still have to do life. But this is one of the hardest times in my life. So that's what's going on. I'm going to get off here. I love you guys. The Lord loves you more, and we will see you next time.